Hari Om, and welcome to all the Divine Atma Jyotis. Let us continue our Manana of Advaita Makaranda. Right now, we are on day 2 talk by Sri Prabhuji, and the way we have chosen to continue our contemplation is we are also learning how to chant the shlokas, and each shloka is being explained, and also any questions that are coming are being discussed. So far, in that manner, after the day 1 talk, for the day 2 talk, we have contemplated on these questions up to shloka 3. So today we will continue from shloka 4. And each one of you would be chanting 2 shlokas. And then you also will be explaining each shloka. After that, any questions are also discussed. Hari Om Ashaji.
Hari Om Vijayji.
Hari Om. All right. So we'll begin from shloka 4 now. Please help me remember who have done it so far. Does anyone? Padmaji, you have done it. Okay. All right. Only you have done it, or anyone else also has done it?
Sir, I did the first two, I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you at all?
Vijayji,
Yes,
I
Raji.
did, Vijayji, I did 7 to 9, 7, 8, 9, 3 shlokas.
No. What I mean is this contemplation that we started, right? So what we are doing is, take each of the shloka, chant the shloka. The Atma Jyoti will also tell the meaning of the shloka, and then the questions are framed. I'm asking who has done that part. So Padmaji has done it.
Okay.
Yeah. So Padmaji, do you recall who did the shloka number 3?
No, sir, I don't. I did only 2.
Okay, you did.
Did I miss one class? Yeah, I'm not sure.
No, in the last class itself, I think we covered up to shloka 3, if you see here. In one class itself, we have done up to shloka 3.
Oh, then I must have only done all the
You
3.
must have only done, right? Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So
Because the questions everyone contemplated, but the chanting part I only.
chanting and then the initial explanation might have been given by you. Okay, all right. Yeah. So then, we can continue. Does anyone feel like picking up from shloka 4? Is there anyone of you who likes to chant 4 and then explain your viewpoint about 4 so that we can discuss then?
I can do is
Yes, Ji, please.
yeah. Let me.
Is it visible, Ji?
Yeah, I'm trying to browse it before.
Yeah.
Nasvata pratyabhignana niramsatva
Nirantatvanna chanyatah
niramsatvanna chanyatah nachashriyah vinasane vinasatyadanasrayat. I cannot undergo destruction, neither by myself as I self place and partners, nor by anything else. Nor can I perish due to the destruction of the substratum because I have no dependence on anything else. Very, this is explaining the nature of the self. What I can see, the material things, every material thing goes through a destruction. It is born, it goes through changes, and then like eventually it dies. And every material thing uh, has this dependency. Uh, like if you take from the dependency part, I see all the things that we see are dependent on this space, and we have seen like the natural destructions, right? It can destroy all these material things, right? While and each one can be cut. All the material things can be cut and like they're into parts, many parts. So this is basically what I see is uh, the the subject object difference. All these are objects, but the one who's seeing the objects is the subject. That subject is saying cannot undergo destruction because which is basically the one who is perceiving or who is knowing is not changing at all, and the subject is not made of matter, so cannot undergo destruction. And and this- and it is not a subject, so there is no uh, dependency. Also, there is no uh, uh, um, fundamentals or the foundation on which this self or the subject is made of, and the subject is self-aware, which is what is making everything else to be seen and understood.
Wonderful. So for you,
Yeah,
this shloka, you are bringing out subject object as the main viewpoint.
correct. Subject object. Yeah,
Okay. And according to you, object goes through destruction, whereas subject doesn't. That's the main
doesn't go through.
point you're bringing out.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there questions for Saravananji based on this shloka? Does anyone want to frame any particular question? Either on the meaning of the shloka or the way Saravananji is looking at it. Saravananji,
Yeah.
when you say there is a destruction, and for that, you are referring to subject object as a distinction.
Mhm.
First of all, what is making you feel here that there is a subject object distinction? That is the first question. And second question is, does the object go through destruction? These are the two questions I would like you to deep dive into.
Mhm. Yeah, the subject object comes into
Hari Om
play
Anupama.
because of
Sorry for interrupting you.
I.
Hari Om Anupama ji.
Yeah,
The
Ji. Hari Om all.
We're
subject of
continuing on the contemplation. Right now, Sarvanji has chanted Shloka 4, and he just now explained, and now he's going to contemplate on a couple of questions that have been raised. Sorry, Sarvanji, please continue.
yeah, the subject object comes into play because of the experience and the experiencer, right? Um, uh, this the okay, even the body is part of the object, and through the senses, uh, uh, there is a projection going on all the time, and this projection is what I'm referring to as the objects that are seen, and the perceiver, again mind, which is part of this body or the jiva is continuously going through the experience. And the the one which is powering this body mind is the subject I'm calling. And 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 the only way, why do I say the subject doesn't go through change? Um, because uh, the subject is able to connect all these events, all experiences, and the only way that can happen is if the subject doesn't change. That's the only way the subject can uh, can relate to all these changes. That's that answer.
So the question, Sarvanji, is directed at,
Uh-huh.
you are saying that this shloka is bringing the subject-object distinction for you.
Uh-huh.
What part of the shloka, or how are you coming to that viewpoint? Where is
Yeah.
the
Okay.
subject-object distinction brought out here?
Yeah. So the I, when he's referring to as I, cannot undergo destruction. I am self-realized, and nor I perish. All that I is the subject he's bringing up, and he is trying to explain this I with with the other, which is the object, and the difference in every phrase that he's bringing the difference. I cannot undergo destruction. That means the I, the subject cannot undergo, doesn't undergo, when the objects undergo destruction, which is very evident, which is very easy for the seeker to realize. And then he says, neither by myself, as I am self-recognized and thoughtless, nor by anything else. We have seen that all the objects uh, go through destruction uh, because they can be cut or external factors destroy. And then it says, nor can I perish due to the destruction of a substance. Here, the entire the, the objects that are seen can just in a moment can be destructed, let's say by earthquake. Everything gone because that is the foundation of what I see, or I have no dependence on anything else. All these objects exist in the space. Uh, in the space, there is a dependency. Right? So that's how. That's why I said of this subject object. Like, how do I
There is
explain
a mention
one?
of the I cannot
Yeah,
undergo destruction, so there must be something that is getting destroyed. And
yeah,
whatever that is getting destroyed is what you are grouping as object.
yeah. So there is this. There are these two methods to explain about anything. One is trying to directly say that, let's say, if it's a flower, I say that it's this shape, this color. I can keep describing. Or the other one is by explaining a complex thing to a student by using the things that the student is aware of, right? So that it is easy for the student to understand, because you need to use something that the student knows to explain about a new concept, right? The student here is the seeker who has seen this, who is only exposed to this world, and the student knows the nature of this world. Right now, using this nature of this world and what the student seeker knows, the author is trying to explain the I that is not known and use it by using the difference.
Hmm. So by the contrast, something is being established here, is what you think.
Established. Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Then can we go a little deeper into the nature of destruction itself? According to you, what is destruction? And is there truly a destruction?
Yeah, what do we mean by destruction is uh, again for a speaker, for a student, the student is exposed to uh, the objects being born and going through changes and die. That is what a student sees as a destruction. Okay, and this is including the body in which student is using to perceive. Right. So one that appears and then disappears is a destruction.
So appearance of something and disappearance is
Yeah, appearance of something, it stays there for a while, it gives experience, and then it disappears, and then the experience is gone.
now the disappearance is what you are terming as destruction.
Then destruction. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So what the trier is now what the author is trying to establish here is you see that all these objects appear and stay for a while and then they disappear and give you and give the experience. Now, in whose presence the object came into being, the object stayed, and the object disappeared. That presence is the I. He's trying to highlight that hey, you are there throughout that appearance, that living, and then disappear. Without you, that object was not there at all. The object cannot be there. The I is the one which gave life to that object when I said like it came, it appeared and held it, and then the same I said like okay, it disappeared. So it is all in the presence of this I.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Why do you feel the Kavi had to point at that I cannot undergo destruction
Yes.
neither
Perfect.
by
Right?
myself?
Mm.
So why that I cannot destroy myself, that
Yeah.
had to be brought out?
Okay. So the human experience or the student seeker, what I have seen, one thing is that when something comes to light and the experience happens, I like it, but the thing is, I want it to be there always, right? And the disappearance or destruction part is is the one that gives me sorrow. Okay. And now the Kavi is saying it, while those subjects came and stayed and disappeared, okay, uh, you are not, you don't have that, you don't go through that. And why? Because the objects had a dependency. The objects were materials, and there were things that could destroy. While there is nothing that can destroy you, which as you are the awareness only, which is seen, right? So there is nothing outside of you to destroy you. Then the question may come that can I destroy by myself? Right? There is okay. I can see that I'm not like this any other object. I am not made of things, so I cannot be destroyed. The only other thing can be like, is there a possibility of self-destruction? Right? Not from external, but self-destruction. Is there a possibility? There, the answer is like I am the one who's um, uh, yeah. Um, It is super tricky for me to put it, but I I exist, and there is and I'm complete, or there is nothing I'm short of, and so okay, I'll put it this way. For me to not exist, someone has to tell me that I don't exist. If I have to destroy also, destruction leads to non-existence. But then who will tell that uh, I don't exist? Somebody has to be there. Okay. While I am the one who is giving life to the existence, there cannot be a destruction for me, for someone else to tell. I am that very existence only. Can I put it this way?
Okay, so let's reflect on that
Yeah.
some more. Now, when it is said, I cannot undergo destruction, neither by myself. It is like a very loose, socially known translation is, it's like killing by suicide, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So there is a general notion that, okay, I kill myself by suicide.
Mm-hmm.
That's what suicide people think, right? Okay, I will kill myself.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So
That is again using something to destroy, and since it's in the general thing, it is that this word refers to destruction of of the medium by the by the mind, right? Using, and since it is matter, you can do it with some other matter. Yeah.
yeah, so there the general the person with suicidal tendency is, I am a person, so I will destroy this. So therefore here Kavi is again drawing a contrast that the true self cannot be destroyed by itself also.
Itself. Yeah.
So therefore, what may be the we can probably question what is the root cause of any suicide?
Yeah. Yeah. So there is some uh, um, in insufficiency or shortcoming. Uh, this person is not uh, happy or contented because of shortcomings, right? That way, if you see, the eye has got nothing to. Uh, and usually these things come uh, in comparison. Okay, I can see all that, and but I am not that. Right? While for the real, for the self, there is nothing. It is sort of because um, it's a awareness, and the awareness has no limits, and since it's not a matter, it is it is not, it cannot be uh, it cannot have deficiencies, and so that uh, that you cannot compare the self-destruction of this to the material self-destructions. Yeah.
So the feeling of insufficiency somewhere deep down, leading to other secondary, tertiary manifestation, leads to suicidal thoughts.
Yeah. Correct.
Whereas that is not there. So there is no insufficiency.
Yeah. Yeah.
can you also see whether self is birthless? So what is birthless? Where is the concept of death? Because death exists in the contrast to birth. So the very notion of birth is itself not there.
Yeah. And so the birth brings a dependency. One is born out of something else, someone from somewhere. Right? There is a dependency. Right? And here, yeah. So that it is this the witness or the awareness uh, is not created by someone or like yeah, it is somewhere all these things will go on and that is the end. Beyond which like you cannot keep uh, trying to question or research. And you can always one can ask, no, okay, I get all these things, everything is gone out of this. Now where did this come from?
If such a question
Right?
comes,
This is where all the
if
questions
such a
will come.
question comes, Ji, what is the source of such a question?
Okay. Uh, it's just a logical questioning to find out, to explore this explanation, or to understand. Okay, I can see that all these things it makes very much sense. But like since I'm used to seeing everything coming from something, okay, can there be something without anything? Right? This becomes like this came out of nothing, or like it is always there. Meaning we have like in the human perception there is nothing that is always there, since everything has come from something, right? So that is where this question leads to.
So there's an underlying assumption, or
Everything has to come from something.
everything is born.
Is born.
Wonderful. Hariom Padmajaji, does anyone have Hariomji? Does anyone have any further questions to Saravananji on the Shloka 4? So he just now chanted Shloka 4 and gave his viewpoints. And we had some...
Sorry, but since I joined in between, can you please summarize what I actually discussed?
Okay. So what we have been doing now is we have been chanting the shlokas, and each Atmajyoti chants about 2 shlokas, and they also explain their viewpoint about that shloka. So Saravananji did that. So Saravananji's viewpoint was this particular shloka points to the subject-object distinction. I being the subject, and that which is undergoing destruction is the object. So we raise the question, how is this shloka bringing that viewpoint about subject-object distinction? Nowhere it says that. How did you infer that? That was one of the questions on which Saravananji contemplated. And then we went into why is there a mention of destruction, or that rather what is destruction, the nature of destruction. Then he also contemplated on why there is a mention of neither by myself, why that has been particularly called out by the Kavi, that I cannot undergo destruction by myself also. So these were the 3 main questions that Saravananji contemplated so far on. Is there anything in particular, Anupamaji, that you would like to know further?
No, I was actually not knowing the questions that have been asked. So now got it, Vijayji.
Very nice. Is there any question that you would like to raise, Anupamaji, to Saravananji before we move to the next one? based on this shloka? Hari Om Kamalaji.
No, Ji.
Hari Om. Okay, so if there are no further questions on shloka 4, we can move on. So essentially, we looked at a couple of questions. How is there a subject-object distinction? What is destruction? Then why is there a mention of neither by myself, destruction neither by myself? So these are the questions that we.
And he used the Vedantic concept of how to explain, right? In nativity, and not this and not this.
How would you frame that as a question, Sarvanji?
It is how do you explain?
How do you how do you point out about an object?
Yeah.
To point out a object. Let's say there is something. How do you point it out? Correct.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So let's go to shloka 5. Sarunji?
Actually, someone else wants to say.
Okay.
Yeah, one day.
Does anyone want to chant? Who wants to chant this shloka? Shloka number 5. And share your viewpoint. Shloka number 5. Anupamaji, in the last session, did you take up any shloka?
Yes, Ji.
You had taken shloka number 3, right?
I think so.
Yeah, now I'm able to recall. Okay. Padmajaji, would you like to take up this shloka?
I can give a shot, Vijayji.
Please, yeah.
Would you just read out the shloka so that I can repeat it once, please?
So who chanted the shloka number 4?
Me only.
Okay. Sorry, what I meant is shloka number 5. When we initially were chanting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who is the one who chanted shloka number 5?
I.
You did, okay. Would you like to help Padmajaji?
Okay. Let me first do it once and then. Na shosha vikleda cheda.
No.
Let me finish it once because I'm also trying to read from my phone. Pause it. Yeah. Na shosha vikleda cheda cheda sinnadaso mama satyai
Satyairapya
nilagyamba tastre kimutakalitaihi. Yeah.
First line, Vijayji, can you just read it once, please, for me?
So if you break it, it will be very easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Na shosha. Go ahead, Sarvanji. Yeah.
Na shosha losha vikleda chithedas illa vaso mama.
Okay, I'll give a shot. Thank you. Na shosha plosha vikleda sheda chinna
Vikleda chedas chinna.
Vikleda Cheda Chinna Bhaso Mama.
Chedaschinna. Chedaschinna.
Chedaschinna. Very good. I got it. Na Shosha Plosha Vikleda Chedaschinna Bhaso Mama. Satyaira No, Satyairapya Nila
Nilagnyambaha. Nilagnyambaha.
Nilagnyambaha
Hmm.
Shastrai Kim
Kimuta Kalpita.
Shastrai Kimuta Kalpitai. Okay. Just as space cannot be dried, burned, wetted, or cut, I, the pure consciousness, I am unaffected by real elements like air, fire, and water, let alone the imaginary ones. So here in this shloka, they're telling us the consciousness, the pure consciousness, is not affected even by the real elements. Actually, we say we are all made up of the Panchabhutas, which are air, fire, water, space, and one more, earth. So these are the five Panchabhutas which our body is constituted. So even those cannot affect our consciousness. Our self-consciousness, our pure consciousness is so pure that nothing can affect. So when the original five elements that we are made up of, even those cannot affect. If that is what its core is telling, just as a space, if you know the space cannot be dried. The space, because the space is the one of those five panchabhutas. So if that cannot be dried, burned, wetted, or cut, the pure consciousness is also in the same way cannot be affected by the real elements. So when it just cannot be affected by the real elements, so forget about the imaginary ones. Imaginary ones, when he's talking, in my opinion, it means all our imaginary things. It can be the body ailments. It can be the mind thinking that someone has said something or something has happened. All these are the imaginary ones, which are, maybe it is happening, maybe we are seeing it as a real, but even then that is not anything that is the real, or what is real is the pure consciousness. Is it affected by anything else? It is not even affected by air, fire, and water. So space in the earth. So forget about the imaginary ones. So that is the importance that has been given to the pure consciousness, which is the previous one talked about the subject. So here also they're talking about the subject as a pure consciousness. That is my understanding, which
Very nice. Are there questions for Padmajaji based on this shloka and what she gave as an explanation?
Yeah, when I was going through this, the imaginary ones, I thought in a different way. So I just want to ask about. In our existence, what we see is like there is always this new things being built to destroy, for destruction. Because of mock destruction.
Currently, I apologize. Your voice is not very clearly audible, Ji. Can you please come closer to the mic?
I'm moving, so maybe the signal is it better? Or
Yeah, this
if
seems to
not,
be
I will.
yeah, it sounds better. Please continue.
Yeah. So the imaginary ones he is talking. So I want to bring it. I had a different view, so I want to bring that out. So what we see in this world is there is constant on one side, like there is constant evolution of new weapons. Right? It started with fire and knife, and then like rifles and missiles and rockets or drones or weapons of mass destruction, bio weapons and the nuclear, the bombs, right? Is it something like since the basic things cannot destroy, can these powerful things can they destroy?
You're saying the powerful things are the
Right.
missiles and all, and the basic things. What did you say, Vijayji? I'm sorry.
It is
The
Saravanan who is
the
asking the
basic things
question,
are like
Padmajaji.
flying fire. Yeah.
Vijayji, once would you please repeat Sarvananji's question?
Yeah, Sarvananji is asking the question that there are all these powerful weapons, nuclear weapons are as such, right? So
Correct.
here, though the Kavi is saying imaginary ones, how about these other powerful weapons? Can they destroy? Sarvananji, is that the question?
Yeah. The basic ones being fire or um, uh, the swords to cut. That was it. That's the earliest weapons you've seen. Right, the arrows, bows and arrows, and the very
Yeah,
basic
understood.
stuff.
I think I understood your question, Sarvanji. Thank you. I think let alone imaginary ones. Here, see, once we identify what is real and imaginary, I think things are all clear. So the pure consciousness, the self, it is only the reality. If I understand this one aspect, that is self, okay, the rest all come under imaginary. The rest, everything, whatever you consider, is all imaginary. Maybe, in my opinion, I see it real. Maybe talking to you in this class is real. But again, in the Vedantic terms, if I know what is the reality, the rest all is unreality. The rest all is imaginary. So the pure consciousness is the reality. The self is the reality. You give a different names over there. I call it as Brahman. I call it as self. I call it as Atma. Give any name, but that is the reality. So once I know that is the reality, the rest all fall under imagination. Now coming to this part of missiles, nuclear weapons, are these the real ones or the imaginary ones? For me, even that is imaginary because I realize what is the self. I understand what is the self in the Vedantic terms, and actually, I think it is more of an experience where you feel that thing after attending all these multiple sessions of this. And if I don't understand this one aspect of what is the reality thing, then so coming to, even if I have to say, you talked about the fire. That's what it says clearly. Ki fire, air, water is also unaffected. They are real elements, but still it is unaffected. So when it is unaffected, so how do I think that nuclear weapons or anything? Yeah, if at all that they what is that they can destruct? They can destroy the body, if at all they're there. That destroy the body over there, but the self is unaffected. That is my understanding. Did I answer your question, Sarunanji? Or did I confuse you?
Okay. So the way I interpret it is they again destroy uh, the material things.
Yes.
What you were saying,
So,
and when you say always in the Vedantic term, is it only in the Vedantic term?
no, that is a reality. But then, yeah, that is what is a reality. But only thing is, for people who still consider that is, again, Vedantic terms, it is yes, but that is the reality. But that has to come into our experience. Until it comes to our experience, we still will consider that is what is reality. So, in my opinion, I can I can experience that self is different. That is the only reality. The rest all are imaginary. Rest all, whatever you consider, is all imaginary. But if I go with that, is it in my experience? I consider it is in my experience. Now, consider that the case of the recent air tragedy that has happened. We have that uh, feeling that it is not, it shouldn't have happened, things out there. But then all those, if I understand, that is all, the soul is only one, though it isn't reflected in this one, but still, it all those pure consciousness is still not affected by any of those things. Maybe the near and dear ones may feel a big loss over there, which you understand, but the reality is this: it is all pure consciousness. It's all one. All those, these here who are all the soul sitting and talking is all one. So nothing can affect this one pure consciousness. So let it be the nuclear weapons, let it be all. This is only will affect the thing, the material, or the imaginary, not the real one. The real one is not affected in any way. So if I go with this, I'm kind of established. I really do not have to worry about anything or everything, basically. Yeah, I may have to do something, whatever is required, I will do, but need not be worried or need not suffer. So there is a difference between a pain and a suffer. If someone is, getting affected by this, there is a suffering over, there is a pain over there. There may not be suffering if they understand the reality. Any further explanation do you need, Sarvananji?
Okay. I will have others continue on this.
Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you,
Vijay,
sir. Thank you, Padmaji. Yeah.
thank you.
Are there other questions for Padmajaji? Anupamaji, you have some question? Does anyone else have any other question for Padmajaji based on what she explained?
Why space is given as an example?
Space is also one of the real elements, Purnimaji. Our everything is made up of, we are all made up of these 5 elements. So one element is given space. I think maybe the space is directly connected to the pure consciousness. So that is where it is given. We have everywhere there is a space. Now, if you understand this, when I say it's a self or the pure consciousness or Atma, again that is Brahman, that is one. If you say space is everywhere, where is it? Where is it not there? In the same way, the self is there everywhere. It is here in my room. It is there in your room also. You as Anupama and me as Padmaja, again, in terms of the body, mind, intellect complex are 2 different objects. But ultimately it is one if I understand that. You and Anupama and Padmaja are no different. It is only the one. And that is what is given to the space or the pure consciousness. So that pure consciousness is there, whether it is you, Anupama, or me, or Sarvanan, or Vijayji, or anyone else in this classroom or outside the classroom. So if I am going with that, if I experience that one aspect, then it is all one. So if you see the space also, it is there across everywhere. You space. Where is space not there? That is how the self. Where is it not there? It's all there. So that is how I think they've given the example of space. If you take a fire, okay, a fire, I burn it here, I see the fire here. So that is why they couldn't give the example of fire or a water here. It is in a glass of water or a water river flowing in a river. But space is there everywhere. So that is why the best example to give the space in comparison with pure consciousness, gives the best analogy or the comparison over there. Again, that is my opinion. Vijayji can
Wonderful.
correct me if
Nice.
I'm wrong.
Yeah. Anupamaji, you had a follow-up?
No, Vijayji, wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Supriyaji, I want to ask a follow-up on that.
Yes,
So
please.
one aspect you brought out is that, it is all pervasive. So all pervasiveness is one of the qualification you are giving. Therefore, you are saying space is a good example of all pervasiveness.
Yes, all
Yeah,
pervasiveness.
like unlike space, fire is not all pervasive, or at least it is not experienceable in its all pervasiveness, or water like that. But what is directly experienceable out of these five elements is the space, and therefore you are saying that is one of the example given. However,
Absolutely.
if you look at the nature of the explanation given by the Kavi is talking in terms of some kind of a modification, drying, burning, wetting, cutting, right? Are getting
Mhm.
affected. So there is a sense of modification, or a sense of modifying it or changing it. And space cannot be modified, as an example he is giving.
Correct. Correct.
So building on to Anupamaji's question, why space is a good example for such a understanding? Why cannot we have the same understanding from water or fire? Or is it that they undergo destruction, only space doesn't undergo destruction?
I think none of these get because all of these, if I talk about the Panchabhutas, which we are made up of, all are I think fire. In literal terms, I see I can light a fire in my gas stove. I switch it on with this. I switch it off. I can douse. If there is a fire, I use water to douse it. It is over. But can I do that with space as such? In literal terms, I cannot do anything with the space. Where can I burn the space? Where can I dry the space? Because it is all pervasive. So that all pervasive nature is being focused or brought out in this particular shloka to make us understand the pure consciousness thing. Other examples may not, bring out the real nature of the pure consciousness. I think that is how the space they've given it across. I think even in Bhagavad Gita talks about the space examples somewhere. So that is my understanding over there. It's not that air, fire, or water are not the real elements. They are also the real elements. That is why he says, I'm unaffected by the real elements. But the space gives a more standout or a clear-cut understanding to make us our understanding a little deeper to the pure consciousness. What is pure consciousness? I think space stands out.
Wonderful. Can you also see that without space, for example,
Mm-hmm.
fire cannot exist? So in a way, it is a basis. See, because for fire to burn, there is a need of a space, and only in the space something else can also come and go, and only when there is something else can fire be burning on it. So
Because again, it is all pervasive. So I think that is where this comes. Please go ahead. Sorry, Vijay.
that's okay, no problem. Yeah. So one is space as all pervasive. It is everywhere, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But space itself, like you also pointed at, cannot be modified. Though it appears to have been modified, immediately you can see that it is not modified. So as an example, in this open space, if this bottle comes, it appears as if like the space has been destroyed. But the moment the bottle goes away, the space is already there. So it's always there, it is always there, and it will continue to be
It
there.
will be there.
So it's
Correct.
immediately perceivable to the human sense. Space as an example. Then the other thing is, it is the space that is the basis of every other object to appear. So as a foundation, without this, whether it is fire or water or any other element, cannot be in existence. So for the others to exist, this is the basis. So in that sense, among all the other elements, the space is the perceivable, easier to relate to the clarity about real self. So one more question to you, Padmajaji.
Yes, Vijayji.
How do you bring is there a test to say something is imaginary, that is non-real, and real? What is the test you would use to say something is real and non-real?
Something is real or non-real, what kind of test that we use it? Like for me, I don't know what test is there, but for me, if I understand this example of a space or a pure consciousness, I understand, and I relate myself with self to that pure consciousness, to that space or to that Brahman. If I relate myself, I know, I am that, I experience that, then I actually don't have to go into any test as such. I know this is what is there. How do I know? Is it a imaginary concept that I've made it in my mind? No, I can somehow I experience this. This is an experience wise. I feel, I can see, over a period of time, when until this knowledge was not there, yes, it was different. But once the knowledge comes, and I start relating it, and I start feeling it, and I see the changes around it, or around me and in me, then I know this is where. So then I really don't need any this. All others are imaginary, let alone the imaginary ones. All others. So I have as such no test. So you have to give me that. Any specific test is there that you understand?
Yeah, so see, the way Vedanta helps us to look at the truth is by giving us day-to-day experience-based answers, right? So now,
Correct.
in a similar in a similar spirit, if I have to say something is real and if something is not real, in your explanation itself, the answer is embedded. See, when do you say something is unreal? Okay, so now there are two qualifications of unreality. One is pure imaginary, another one is something that you're experiencing. That is what the Kavi has also brought out here. A plant can be experienced. Let's say a flying elephant is an imaginary one, like that. But they also are unreal, is the broad classification, right? So to say that they're unreal, then what kind of a test you are applying the test, and only because of that test you are saying it is unreal. And the test is very simple. See, with respect to let's say that plant, what is the test to say it is unreal? Unreal means what? You are able to touch it. So does it become unreal? Is that the test for unreality? The flying elephant.
Flying in elephant is something imaginary.
Right. So then
Because
what
there
is
is
the
no
test
such
for
flying. I've not seen.
unreal?
Unreal is like whatever through the senses, 5 senses, we don't see or we don't understand, that is unreal, or imaginary. Flying elephant case, if you take. The rest all I am seeing in materialistic terms, everything is the real, like, a mobile is a real object, that an object in terms of that. But here, what is actually you're telling, I'm still trying to understand, Vijayji. So
Sure. So see, if you go with unreality as something that cannot be perceived by the senses, is that what you are saying?
Yes. With this
Then,
example of what you have given.
so then real self cannot be perceived by the senses.
Correct.
Then it has to be unreal.
Yes, you're right.
Then that contradicts the reality, right? In one sense, you're saying, in one sentence, you're saying self is the only reality, but the qualification for that test is that, or the qualification, or the qualifying test is, it has to be perceived by the senses. That is the test for
Yes,
reality.
absolutely right. I think I understood your question. So, in general terms, whatever we are doing, yes, whatever I can perceive through my five senses is real. Whatever I cannot perceive in my five senses, in my opinion, that is all imaginary or real. Had it been flying elephant case, or you take any other thing, a mermaid over there, half human, half fish, all those again examples of unreal. But the real self is beyond five senses. It is not something that we can perceive it through five senses. So forget about taking out because all that we are seeing five senses is also imaginary. Yeah, in regular terms, yes, you're talking. I cannot go and talk to a layman saying that what is real, what is unreal. He'll consider me as a mad person. But in my experience, I know what is a real person, which I can confidently talk in this forum.
All right.
So for me, real is something that is beyond five senses.
Okay, so one clarification we need to bring there, Padmajaji. So the test for reality is very simple. The test for reality is the same question as what is truth. So truth and reality are equivalent terms. When do you say something is true? In the Vedantic way of looking at the jnana, what is truth? Truth is that which is in all the time,
Which is true in
in
all
all the
times.
place, for all different kinds of experiences or different kinds of minds. In other words, kala desha vastu, that which is independent of the kala desha vastu. These are the three qualifying terms. Kala, it cannot be changing from kala to kala. That is, yesterday it was different, today is different, tomorrow it will be different. Then it cannot be called as truth, or it cannot be real. Desha, oh, in that place it is like this, in this place it is like this, cannot be the case. In that place also it is the same, in this place also it is the same. Desha. Vastu, oh, in this form it has these characteristics, in that form it has those characteristics. So the characteristics, the guna changes. So the gunas, so there are different gunas, cannot be the qualifying. So these are the three qualifying tests. Kala, desha, vastu. Now let's apply it on the space. So space.
Give me one second. What is the guna you said? Is a vastu guna? Is nature, is it? All the times, places, and
Time, place, and guna. So when you observe any object, you see guna of the object. Remember, in the very first session, we reflected on guna and swarupa. Guna is
also nature, is it? Can I call it as a nature?
The rough English translation can be a dependent nature. See, there are two kinds of nature in any object. There is something that we can call as swabhava or swarupa. It's intrinsic. It is
basically attributes, you're saying.
It's original attribute. It's original attribute. Yeah, it cannot be separated from it. That is where we spoke about burning aspect of the fire, or the luster of the gold, or the light of the sun. They cannot be separated from that object. If it is separated, then that object no more is that object. You cannot say that, fire, but it cannot be burning. So the very nature of fire is to burn. So such attributes, such nature is called as independent.
Real.
Yeah, it's very original. Yeah, swarupa, swabhava, swa. Whereas there are some other attributes which are dependent. That is where, in the example of the fire, the brightness of the fire, the color of the fire, it is also there. That is also nature of fire only. It is the nature of the fire to burn small, to burn big. However, it is a dependent reality. It is a dependent attribute. Depending upon where it is burning, on what object it is burning, it may be small, it may be big. It may be blue color, it may be red color. So such attributes are dependent attributes. Those are gunas. So guna is something that is dependent on something else. Whereas swabhava is original. It cannot be modified. It is there by itself. That is why
We are
it's
using the
swabhava.
Swabhava and Swarupa as a synonym kind of thing, right? Swarupa or Swabhava.
Exactly. Swarupa.
Guna is the more dependent attribute.
Yeah, is a dependent
Okay.
attribute. Yeah, so in English we can call it as dependent attributes and independent attributes. Yeah, so that's how we can look at it. So the qualifying test for something to be called as truth or true or real is these three. The
Thank you, Vijayji.
time, space.
Thank you for this test. Skala, Desha, Vastu.
So therefore, we are asking the question, what is Kala, independent of Kala? When I notice my own experience of life, your own experience of life, your body keeps changing, so it cannot be independent between times. So therefore, body cannot be reality. Body cannot be true. Or whatever experiences that you've gathered through body also cannot be true in that sense, in one simple sense. Though you may touch and feel a tree, that alone is not the test. As an example, in your dream, you touch and feel many things in your dream, right? But what is that body that is experiencing that? You call it as a dream body. How do you know it is a dream? Only when you wake up. And how do you distinguish between that dream and this dream? Why is this not a dream? Whatever you're currently experiencing. Is there a way to distinguish between, see, that is a dream. So therefore it is imaginary, because in that dream, in the sleeping dream, you have seen flying elephants, you yourself may have been flying. So many weird things happen, right? Appear, right? And during that time, it appears very real. It feels as if, you're going through all those emotions, all those feelings during that time. But now, how can you use only senses as a qualifying for reality? At that time also you felt it, right? In the dream.
Yes.
Are you able to see the distinction?
Yeah. In the dream also, everything seemed real only for me. Because at that point of time, as a dreamer, I could walk, I could go around, I can do a lot of things. So that was also felt very real at that point of time.
Correct. So therefore, what we are perceiving fundamentally in the mind, ultimately, whether it is through this charma chakshu or during the dream, this charma chakshu may not be there, but that dream character has its own seeing, right? The dream body that you take up has its own seeing. That's how vision appears during dream also. But where both of them are being seen, whatever the vision that you're seeing right now through this charma chakshu, or during your dream, the dream body also must be seeing something. Where
That is our
both of
dream
them are
fiction.
being seen? So that is what we call as a mind for the time being. So for the time
Correct.
being, let's say in the mind you are seeing. So the seeing is, that's why the word indriya has both a gross meaning and a subtle meaning. The subtle meaning of an indriya is that which helps you to see in the mind. So the seeing apparatus in the mind is the indriya. Okay. That is why all these indriyas are under the ownership of the Indra Devata, who is the Lord of the Indriyas. It is not just this. So just having the Charma Chakshu alone will not help you to see. There's a subtle sense of seeing. There is a subtle organ of seeing in the mind. That is also operating during your dream. That is why you are able to see. Because you are able to take that body form. And in that body form, you're still able to perceive. However, perception alone cannot be the test for reality. Because whatever is perceived is coming and going. So therefore, something that is independent of time is one of the qualification. Is this point clear, Ji, first of all?
Yes.
And the second qualification, something that is independent of the space. So during dream, there was one body. During the so-called now the wake-up time, there's another body. So therefore, this body itself cannot be real. Because this body wasn't there during your dream. There was some other body. So this body or
Dream
that
body.
body, therefore cannot be taken as the reality.
Correct.
Yeah, so something has to be, therefore, be able to transcend the time, transcend the space, and transcend the various gunas through which it appears. So that's why the real self is beyond what we generally call as the three foundational gunas, the Rajo, Tamo, Sattva. These are the three foundational gunas through which anything comes into appearance. When you perceive anything, you are essentially perceiving the mixture of these three gunas. So it has to be independent of that also.
So we can say the real self is beyond Kala, Desha, and Vastu, beyond Sattva, Rajo, and Tamoguna.
Correct. That's why the Sattva, Rajo, Sattva, and Tamoguna are grouped as Prakriti. But Purusha, that is you, the real you, is beyond Prakriti. Prakriti is bound in Kala and Desha. And Prakriti, Purusha appears temporarily in the form of the Prakriti. Not by undergoing a change, seems to appear. Is this making sense, Ji?
Vijayji, the last sentence I cannot understand.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to explain it once more. Purusha seems to appear, you said, right? That's the word that you
So
have.
fundamentally, there is only real self. Because that is the basis of everything. So which means that whatever else is derived must be already there in the Purusha only, right? But it is a apparent phenomena. Just like how, when we take the example of the fire, where is that color of the fire? Where is that? It must be already in the fire. But it appears upon certain circumstances. When those right circumstances come, it appears. Blue color flame, red color flame, yellow color flame. It is hidden until that circumstance appears. So the nature or the gunas are therefore, in that sense, they appear and disappear upon certain circumstances. And for that, you need a certain space and time. Oh, only when there is this kind of a material on which the fire is burning. I saw blue color flame. I saw a red color flame. Where, on what was it burning? So like that, we have to have qualifying conversations. So it is dependent on that particular thing to be there. Then that guna appears. But what is appearing as that guna? That is a question. What is appearing as that blue or yellow or red? Fire itself. And that is already there in the fire. But it is not what we call as a swabhava. It is not a always appearing phenomena. It seems to appear and disappear. Whereas the burning is always there. That is why we call that as swabhava. Guna doesn't mean that it is separate from the vastu. Guna also is part of the vastu only. Guna is also part, that blue or yellow color is also part of the fire only. But it appears and disappears. It is circumstantial. It is relative. So in that sense...
And because it appears and disappears, that is not real. That is what we have.
So therefore, one way of saying it is, Prakriti is nothing but the appearing and disappearing aspect of Purusha. Shakti, in other words, Shakti is the appearing and disappearing aspect of Shiva. Shiva is the foundational reality. Doesn't mean that Shakti is unreal. But you can experience Shakti and it is also not there at times in that particular form, as a tree, as a mountain, as a kadabu, as a idli, as a chutney, right? In various aspects in which Shakti appears, it appears and disappears. But what is appearing as that various forms fundamentally is Shakti. What is Shakti? It is nothing but Purusha only. So Purusha and Prakriti are not two things, not two separate things. There is Purusha and this is Prakriti. Prakriti is very much part of Shiva and Shakti are very much one. But to help realize the truth, they are separated in the beginning. So that is the basis of the statement. Purusha only is appearing as Prakriti. In other words, real self is appearing as the world. World is not separate from the self. You and the world are not two. You are the world. Is the implication of it. Does this bring clarity, Anupamaji and Padmajaji?
It brings a lot of clarity for me.
Yes, Ji.
So therefore, in reality, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is not a matter of philosophy. It is not let's live like one family. It's a nice idea to live like one family. It is not a matter of philosophy or very nice idea. It is not that. It is the reality. You are not separate from anything else that is around you. You are that. Everything else is you only. Because of you, everything else is getting an existence. Right now also, it's a very simple truth to realize. Right now also, all that is seen is being seen within you.
Yes.
And it is you who is giving names to different forms. Oh, this is
Yes.
a pouch. Oh, this is a bottle. Oh, what this fellow is speaking is English. Oh, he's speaking about Vedanta. All this meaning, all these names are being given, labeled by you at this very moment as this whole thing is happening
Within me.
within you. Where are you
Yes.
seeing me right now? Within you. Where are you seeing
Correct.
all these things? Within you.
Within me.
Everything at any given point of time is always within you alone. You are the world. But these things appear and disappear. But you, the one who is seeing, you're permanent. But these experiences are impermanent. But they are not separate from you. They are not something else. They are because of you. Just like how all the dream characters are because of you during the dream, right now also, all of this is because of you. Therefore, the fundamental question, whether that dream is true or this dream is true, cannot be resolved. This is also, therefore, dream only.
So once we know this particular realization, everything is me. So every moment, whatever I'm expressing has to be done. Understand, keep this baseline in mind and then do it. I think then every word that I utter, every thought I think has to come from that real you. And it has to be the one which is, for a Loka Kalyana kind of thing. That is my thing.
Yeah, so then Loka Kalyana is not a matter of afterthought. That is why Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita,
Mhm.
I am Dharma. Sri Krishna says, I am Dharma. Or you ask Sadguru, a realized master, why do you serve? And the answer is very simple. That is my
Mhm.
that is my dharma.
Nature.
That is my dharma. What is dharma then? If you ask a cuckoo bird, why do you sing? That is my very nature. You ask sun,
Which
why
is
do you
called as
sing?
an innate nature, the original nature.
It's dharma means I am just being me. It's not a service is not a afterthought. Oh, it's a nice idea to serve. Though for the sadhaka it may begin like that, but that is
Yes.
the ultimate
That becomes
reality.
a part of me. It becomes
Yeah,
a part of me.
yeah.
Yes, got it, Vijayji. I think this fifth shloka actually went into very deep.
Very nice. Are there any other questions that anybody wants to raise, or any other points you wanna add?
Thank you, Vijayji. I think for the test also, I think I did not know this concept of Kala Desha Vastu when I heard it. So thanks.
Sure, Ji.
Actually, Vijayji, once I asked Guruji, how are you always kind with everybody? How are you always helping somebody? He said, I am not helping anybody, I'm helping myself, and I am kind to only myself, he said.
Correct. So we can call it as Maha selfish fellow.
Very true.
Yeah.
I think we all
One
have to be Maha selfish only now.
I have one question, Vijayji.
Go ahead, please, Ji. Go ahead.
So, as you said, it's our dharma, so related to dharma only. How do you know? How do I know that? How can I distinguish between dharma and adharma when it comes to the daily life situations? Or so, does the mind and intellect play any role
Yeah.
in
So
distinguishing?
the
And our
conflict. The
belief
conflict between
systems
dharma and
also.
adharma is only in the plane of the mind.
But we were our belief systems. We the around us, the environment, the family, circumstances, society will have they will expect different type of they have their own what you call they tell if you are like this, then you fit into this society, otherwise you are not, you are unfit, like that. They label us, they keep on labeling us. So I am talking about the how can we distinguish in such cases? See, I will be with the help of Sadguru or Satsanga, I will have the clarity. But the society doesn't accept us sometimes. So how can we overcome that?
See, that is where, the word swadharma can be interpreted in multiple levels. What is swa in the swadharma? Swa is who I
Self.
am. So depending upon who I think I am, I recognize my dharma. If I think I am as an example, I'm saying, if I think I am a man, I tend to follow manly dharma, depending upon what I may have absorbed from my society around. The society around may say, man, why are you crying like a woman? So manly dharma is not to cry. Why? I am a man, right? So then, for such a person, what is swadharma? I should never cry. So even a circumstance requires tears, or brings the tears. No, I cannot cry. I have to act tough. I have to look tough. So dharma, therefore, in that sense, is influenced by the very idea of who I think I am. Therefore, the first thing to be clearly identified and recognized is who I am truly. So, as long as I think I am somebody, I will be following the dharma of that somebody. There's nothing wrong. In different roles, you have different dharma to be followed. There's a role-based dharma. As a wife, you have a dharma. As a husband, you have a dharma. As a mother, you have a dharma. Dharma means what? Very simple. That which is sustainable, that which, when you follow, sustains, is one of the way to look at dharma. Dharanat trayate iti dharmaha. That which, when you follow, sustains. So, as a wife, what should the behavior be that is sustainable in a given environment? As a mother, what is the behavior that is sustainable? Like that, for every role, we can ask such simple questions, and we can find some relevant answers in the context in which it is operating. As an example, as a mother, in a given society, there are certain norms that the society accepts. Maybe not necessarily as a foundational value of a mother, but it's okay. As long as they are not harmful, it's okay to follow that dharma. So that we need to first and foremost distinguish. When I use the word swadharma, which role am I talking about? Or am I talking about the real self? Real self is the very embodiment of love. Because in the real self, there is no more I and you. So therefore, for the real self, the true dharma is pure love and compassion. Because there is nobody else. In the ultimate reality, there is nobody else. However, in the so-called transactional reality, it is kindness, love, compassion. The basis of love, kindness, and compassion is because deep down you know you are everything else. And that is what appears at the mental plane as expression of, oh, I love this, I love that, I love him, I love her. But deep down,
It is all in the mind. It is all in the mind.
it's in the mind, it appears as that or this. But deep down, the basis of love is you. You are the very source of love. You are the very, love is you. It is not that love is because, love is you.
So, what is the benchmark, Vijayji? As per my knowledge, I feel I should check, I should validate myself moment to moment that whether I am in peace and whether I love everyone.
So,
So,
yeah,
because
one simple test for dharma, whether it is true dharma or not.
hmm,
It's in the definition itself. Dharanat trayate iti dharmaha. Trayate
hmm,
means what? Protected. Protection means what? When I do something, meaning what?
hmm,
When action happens, what is the
yes,
outcome of that action? Has that action left me in turmoil, or has that action left me in total peace?
peace. Huh,
If the action has
yes.
left me in peace,
Hmm,
naturally, not
hmm,
through mental conceptions,
huh, yes,
that must be in tune with the way it has to be.
exactly. Got it. So, emotion, that feeling we should constantly, I should constantly observe the feeling. If I am in peace, whenever I perform any action, if I am in peace, then that is my swadharma.
So before the action happens, there is a
Hmm.
motive or intention behind that action.
Huh.
So, for example,
Hmm.
the child is doing a ruckus and the
Hmm.
mother scolds the child.
Hmm.
Now, the intention behind that action is this particular behavior is harmful for the child.
Hmm.
If that is the case, then the mother, though has scolded, may have even
Hmm.
maybe hit, still feels at peace because the mother knows that this is done for
Hmm.
this reason. The outcome is for the benefit of the other one, right? In that
Hmm.
situation of looking at it as a third person.
Hmm.
So that has left the mother at peace. Why? It is for the
Hmm.
benefit of that other. There was nothing expected for me alone. So any such actions also lead naturally
Hmm.
to peace. That is what is yajna. Yajna is initially as a practice to do for the benefit of that other being. Only
Hmm.
requirement is that generally we tend to restrict that to only our immediate family members or those we biologically relate to. So go
Hmm.
beyond. So that's why
Hmm.
Panchamahayagna, go beyond. So as that is getting practiced, uh, naturally Swadharma
Hmm.
becomes Swadharma because that is what it is. Swadharma only that is leading to Yagna. Krishna is Yagna
Hmm.
only. You are Yagna only.
Hmm.
Yagna is Dharma only.
Yes, Vijay. And the example that you gave is very nice, actually. But the mother instructs the child, um, and mother has to instruct the child with detachment. Then the mother will not have any expectations.
Yeah, so
Uh,
detachment here is nothing but may the best happen for the child.
yes.
When
Mm.
that is the underlying feeling, then
Mm.
there is in a way a detached way of doing things. Detachment
Mm.
doesn't mean I don't care anything at all. No, not like that. I
Yes.
care a lot. I care a lot. So therefore, I want the best to happen to my child. I care a lot, therefore I want the best to happen to my country. I care a lot,
Mm.
therefore I want the best to happen to the entire world.
Mm.
Because in that care, there is total peace.
Yes.
So this is
Jagadhitaya comes.
also true detachment. Because nothing is actually separate from me, is
Mm.
what is bringing that care. Would I say, let whatever happen to my left hand forefinger, let's say something is crushing my left hand forefinger, would I simply say, whatever, that doesn't matter? No, I act for what? For protecting this. Why? This is me. So in that feeling for the entirety, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, this whole world is my body.
And we can do. I can do my best to feel that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. But if the situation is not supportive, we come across many things which makes me feel that I'm not delivering my 100% efforts to feel that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Then I think I have to apply, change what you can, accept what you can't. Is that right, Vijay?
Correct, Ji. See, at a transactional level, the expression of the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam can be multifold. Krishna destroyed Kauravas because of the compassion. When you start seeing that an action of such total destruction can be out of compassion, that is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Like a surgeon removing a gangrene so that the rest of the body can be saved.
Yes. Okay. Removing the weeds so that the rose flower or whatever plant gives, what is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam concept. Yes.
Because when that
Thank
weed
you,
is
Vijay.
removed, the essence of whatever is making it as a weed now has the opportunity to transform itself. This is expressed through a beautiful story, no? Narada went to Narayana and said, I want to experience the power of Narayana mantra. And he tells him, go to that rat and chant Narayana. And he goes, and as soon as he chants, that rat dies. He comes running. Narayana sends him to this cat. So like that, he keeps on going. And then after 2 or 3 instances, Narada is really worried. Whenever I go and chant Narayana, everything is dying. Then he tells him to go to a cow. Now Narada is totally upset. Ayo, if I go to this cow, it's go hatya, because I'm chanting Narayana and it's dying. Go hatya. Go. Goes, that also dies. He's really upset. He says, finally, go to this, there is one group and there's one person sitting. Go to him also and chant Narayana. So he's now totally afraid. Ayo, now Gohatya Papa, now Narahatya Papa, even more grave. But he anyway goes because Narayana is instructing him. And as soon as he goes there, that person who is sitting there seems like some satsang is happening and there is one guru sitting there. As soon as he sees Narada, he comes running to Narada and falls at his feet and says, thank you, thank you. Narada doesn't know. Narada asks, why? Oh, it is because of you that I was a rat, I become a cat, I become a dog, I became a cow. Now I'm here and I'm able to see the whole. It's all due to you.
Oh, yeah. I think I heard that the same story in a different form. That's nice.
So when anyone is performing an action, they may have only a small window
Mm,
to which they're interpreting the action. So in that window, it may appear as a good and a bad action. But when that
yeah.
window is expanded, it
Mm,
may take a totally different meaning.
true, Vijay. Thank you, Vijay.
Do you have any other questions to discuss? Any other points to add? All right. So then, in our next session, we'll continue with shloka number 6. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu.